All right. What's up, everybody? Hello, hello. Finally back home. Today, I wanted to talk about how growth comes in cycles. But before I get into that, I just kind of want to jump into exactly how I got into this topic. And so, basically, for ChatGPT, there's an option where you could ask it to say, remember all of my conversations, or maybe don't ever remember my conversations. So, for me personally, I leave that on. And so, I've been using ChatGPT every day basically ever since it came out. So it has a decent amount of information on me. And in terms of how I use ChatGPT, I use it for personal things. I use it for analyzing myself. I use it for work. I use it for decision making. And so interestingly, ChatGPT actually has a lot of context about me. And so I decided to, just ask it plainly, like, based on the personal information that you currently have on me, what are some things I should know about myself? And so that's a really fun way to, start taking a look into your personality a little bit if you are a massive ChatGPT user. And just one thing they had mentioned was this idea that my life kind of showcases this idea of growth comes in cycles. And so I just want to talk a little bit about that and just give you an idea if you're a person who you feel stuck or you feel like a lot of people's expectations of you are kind of building up and you just feel like, you just don't want to deal with this anymore. You want to figure out a way to grow more into yourself without having all these people's expectations stacked into your plans. And so the big thing I have to say about this is just in my life, I've had many resets. And so resets in my mind is essentially any time that you're able to move or go somewhere where just absolutely nobody knows anything about you. And so that's happened to me three times in my life. So at my 11th and 12th year, I went to a boarding school. So I just went in the middle of nowhere, Arkansas. Got to hang out there. I was taught by monks, and so I got to see like kind of their view of life, the way that they think. Then my wife just went to go to Madison, Wisconsin to study. So I went to Madison and I got to meet all those people and understand their view of life. And right now, this current moment, we're in Toronto, we're in the GTA area. And so, of course, once again, I got to move there and see their way of life. And just the big benefit of it is just like I kind of highlighted in the beginning, it's just that once you're in an area for a really long time and people start to know you, it's a lot easier to put people in boxes and just kind of assume that they never change and they're essentially the same person your entire life, rather than understanding that people are very, very dynamic. People are constantly changing depending on their experiences, the context of their lives. And so just people are always in constant flux. But just for general people, right? Because like let's say that you're you're in your hometown, you may know 100 people. Just as human beings, it's very difficult to really comprehend just how much things are changing for everybody. And so because of that, people kind of start having expectations of people, and they're usually quite simplistic just because they already know so many people, they cannot possibly, keep up with everybody like that. And so one thing that I felt is once I'm able to make these resets, go to these different locations with which absolutely nobody knows about me, the best part about it is that I just feel really quite free in terms of, what do I want to do? How do I want to talk? What type of people do I want to meet? All those things are kind of no longer held back by anything. For example, if I'm in my hometown, in terms of like, who am I going to be hanging out with? Probably my childhood friends, like that's pretty straightforward. Whereas if you're in an area that you know absolutely nobody, the question gets a lot more fun. Just because it's no longer, who did you choose when you were 10? Not that I still don't love my friends from my childhood. I still love them for sure. It's just that when it comes to like, what are the types of things I want to talk about? What are the type of interests? I start to find that like as I started moving out of my city, starting to meet new people, and even meet new people who are very much like me and my wife, who are constantly traveling around, you start realizing that, actually this group of people I relate with very, very heavy. And it's very interesting in the sense that every single different place that you go to, you're obviously going to make your new decisions. You're going to meet different people, and with that, it's going to affect you, and you're going to take some of it. So, for example, in Madison, Wisconsin, the big thing there was everybody was very, very sharp there, very, very sharp. UW is one of the best schools in the country, and so because of that, the people who go there are also incredibly talented, bright people, and the Midwest, essentially, or the way that everybody was acting there, it really showed me the importance of really taking your time and making sure that your hobbies and you still have hobbies to fulfill you. Because at the end of the day, career stuff is great, obviously, because you get some monies. But at the end of the day, like, if everybody watching this video had $50 million right now, and then they put it into some sort of investment vehicle in which they're able to draw 5 to 7% a year and not be able to hurt the interest, like, I don't think anybody would really continue to work. Unless you're just built like that, then so be it. But just me personally, I don't live to work. I really just want money so I can live my life. And the people in Wisconsin had really taught me that. And they're not even all from Wisconsin, just the area itself. It's so crazy to think that a lot of how people act is not necessarily how they choose to act, but is very dependent on the context in which they are acting. And so in Wisconsin, the one thing I noticed is that despite everybody being very, very sharp and, relatively hardworking, the big thing for them is really having hobbies that really can fulfill them. So for example, that one of my wife's lab mates, she obviously worked at the lab, but her side thing was, doing acts at the circus. And so she did juggling. She was able to, when they have the lines and you're able to dance with the lines. I actually got to try that out at their house. So that was really fucking cool. And just this idea of like, work doesn't have to be everything. Making sure that you are actually, constantly working and having some sort of hobbies, to build off of aside from work was so important. And, on the other side of things, when I moved to Toronto, I had met people who were working 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs. And so with that, the kind of work ethic of the Toronto area is kind of just imbued in me now as I work a variety of jobs as well. And it's interesting that you're able to pick and choose things, right? And you get to learn things from people that is not even necessarily just the people themselves, but is the context that wraps around them. And so I think that's the most amazing part about travel. That's the most amazing part about these resets, is that you get so much opportunity to learn new things, have experience with different types of experiences. And it really does go to shape who you are. Because I would say that, me in Toronto is not me in Madison, and me in Madison was not me in Dallas. But at the same time, I'm always me. And so hopefully someone, if you're watching this, you're kind of getting an idea of what I'm talking about. So if you are someone who's been working, for a period of time, you're in the same area, you feel kind of stuck. If you're able to swing it financially, or able to find a job in a different city or a different state or a different country, especially if you're on the younger end. If you're older, obviously, you could still, if it makes sense for you, you should still do it. But I really, really recommend it if you are younger to try traveling out of your city, your state, your country, and just working there for a period of time. Just because when you travel somewhere, of course, you get to see the landmarks, you get to see, you eat some good food. But at the end of the day, like, you don't really get to live their life. But if you're doing these resets, you're moving around a little bit, it is just so interesting how when you first move to an area, you hear people, love some things and hate some things. And of course, if you're not from that area, you're not going to fully understand. But if you live there 2 or 3 years, by the end of it, you're going to love and kind of hate the same things, right? And so it's just so cool that there's so many different cultures, even microcultures, even within the same country, within the same state. And there's just so much for you to experience. And I feel like I would not have been in the place I'm at if I didn't get all those different experiences. And so if you're looking for someone to just tell you directly, like, hey, listen, like, if you feel like life is like, is that it? Hell no. This life shit is crazy. Do you know how many people there are in this world? Do you know how many different places there are and all these different things you don't know? There is so much that you don't know that it's just, if you feel like, oh, is this it? You're just stuck in the same area. It's not it. Life is so much to give. The country has so much to give. And essentially my main advice for this video is, if you get the opportunity to move somewhere where absolutely nobody knows you and you really get a chance to really figure out who you are, it is 100% worth it. Not only are you going to be able to go different places and find different jobs, so you're still building up your career that way, but you're also building yourself emotionally intelligent wise or socially wise, to be able just to meet and talk with all different types of people. In some ways, I almost feel like a chameleon. And not a chameleon in the sense that I'm being fake to everybody, but just in the sense that, like, because I've had experience with talking and working with so many different types of people, like, that is just a plus side for me. I love being able to meet new people, hear like how they live their lives, how they view things. Just because everybody is so different, this world is so everybody has their own context, and because of that, you know, the world to you is not the world to this person, it's not the world to this person. And so just being able to see into these different people's lives and figure out, like, what do I like about it, what I not like about it. And obviously you can pick and choose. And so, you know, after being away from home for maybe 4 or 5 years now, I just feel like a totally different person. I just feel almost reinvented every single time I do a reset. And so if you are looking for someone to just call it out, once again, please do. But other than that, that was really everything I wanted to talk in this video. So if you found it, you know, provided you some value, give it a like, give it a subscribe, leave a nice comment in terms of where would you move next? That's one of my favorite questions. So just my generic question is, what are we doing next, right? Or where are we moving next? What are we doing next? There's always something along the horizon. And I believe that for everybody. And I believe that if you are relating to what I'm talking about right now, the best thing for you to do is to move. Just so that you're able to continuously learn, especially if you already feel like, oh, is that life? It really just means that you're bored. That's okay. I get bored too. And that's the benefit of moving around, is you're not going to get bored if you know absolutely nothing. You know, even stuff like grocery stores get interesting when you start seeing like local cuisine and stuff like that. So I'm going to stop rambling. I know this entire channel is a ramble channel anyway, so I should not apologize for rambling. But once again, thanks for watching. I hope you got some value out of this video, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.